G'day folks, Troy Dean here.
Ray Milladoni.
Welcome to episode 26. That is 26, that is, oh gee, I was so close. I thought I could say it in German, but I forgot. Sorry.
I can't help either.
Suxen something, can't remember. Anyway, I'll figure that out and I'll have it ready for next week. Hey, today on the episode, we're not going to be talking about German. We're going to be talking about profit on all things money and profit in your business. It's good to be back in the chair here. I've been in San Diego for a couple of weeks. Ray and I were up on the Gold Coast for a few days in one of our masterminds. We're going to tell you all about that. And we're also going to talk about how finding a niche or a niche, as you say on the other side of the planet, can help you improve the profitability in your business. Stay with us. And you'll have to excuse us for starting a few minutes late today, but we had a few technical problems, and as I said to the boys off camera, I'd rather be late than shit. So, hey, how you going, dude?
I'm very well.
Good,
very
awesome.
Good. It's good to be here. Different talent.
It is.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good to be. It's good to be.
Dynamics.
It's good to be back in the seat. Simon's out of a job. Simon's hunting for fish with polar bears in Canada at the moment, in a place called Churchill. He's actually paddle boarding with whales, I think, at the moment, and it's freezing cold. So I hope you're having fun, Simon, but you're no longer required here. Kidding. Hey, dude, we had an epic weekend up on the Gold Coast, didn't we?
Yeah. Fantastic.
We're going to talk about that in a moment, but we can't talk about that just yet because we haven't done the whole, you know, stuff that happened bumper, and I'm kind of out of practice. I'm a bit out of the loop. It's very exciting to be back here in the studio. There's lots of stuff happening. We are going to give you a little bit of an update on what's been happening over the last 7 days. So why don't we recap stuff that happened?
Stuff that happened.
Now, one of the things I've got a little note here is to talk about the power of the community. We ran a mastermind in San Diego a couple of weeks ago for our Mavericks Club members, which was awesome. And then we came back. I was back in the country for 36 hours, and we went off to the Gold Coast. Ray and I went up to the Gold Coast to join one of our masterminds. And so that is not a mastermind that we run, but a mastermind event that we are an attendee, we're a participant in. And how was it for you?
Fantastic. I think, yeah, it was really good just to be around so many like-minded individuals, and everyone's working to, you know, grow their business and change the world and have an impact and leave their legacy. And it was just really exciting to be around so many great entrepreneurs and business owners and great community.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's for those that are interested in knowing the details, it is the Black Belt program run by Taki Moore in Sydney, and we have also been very fortunate enough to be invited into his boardroom program, which is his high-end mastermind, which there are about 10 people in the room on Saturday, all working basically all in the coaching business, all doing really well and helping each other with the challenges and the opportunities in our business. So Black Belt, there are about 100 people in the room. I think maybe more than that, 120 people in the room, Thursday and Friday. And then boardroom, there are about 10 of us in the room on Saturday.
It was really interesting to go from that experience of like a large room and what you got from that, and then going into a niche room with 10 people and just the different feeling, the different conversation dynamics, and still both very valuable, but different takeaways from each experience.
Yeah, 100%. The thing about the community, and in fact I dictated a blog post yesterday while I was walking Oscar. My wife unfortunately had to attend a funeral yesterday, and so in the morning I was looking after Oscar, and I walked him up from home to the office here, and while I was walking him up I had my Bluetooth headset in, and I dictated a blog post into my voice recorder, which I've then sent off to Suzanne, who's going to write that up as a blog post for us. And what I dictated was the power of why I think group coaching is such a powerful format. It's something we do here at WP Elevation. Most people think they want one-on-one coaching. Most people are like, oh, I'll pay extra and I'll get one-on-one coaching. The problem with one-on-one coaching is that it's really easy to pull the wool over your coach's eyes. If you haven't done the homework, it's really easy just to make an excuse and get let off the hook. But when you're in a group of, say, 10 or 12 peers who are keeping you accountable, you don't want to look stupid and foolish in front of them. So we set some pretty ambitious goals on Saturday as part of the boardroom program. We then have to turn up in 3 months' time and report on our goals and say whether or not we've achieved them. And if it was just me and Taki, I would have said, oh, sorry dude, didn't make it. And Taki would be like, all right, well, you're a goose, you're an idiot, slap on the wrist, you know, what's going on? But because there's 10 peers in the room, I don't want to look stupid turning up not having achieved the goal. Right. So it breeds a bit of healthy competition.
And the fact that they get up and share their results and they're ticking things in green and maybe just missing a few little things, it's really kind of, oh wow, look what they've done, what have I been doing? It's good.
Yeah, it's a really powerful format. So that's a little bit of a brief there. And one of the things that I learned over the weekend is that we're doing really well in the business. Our revenue's good, sales are good, membership is great, our net promoter score is fantastic, our course completion rates are really high. However, our net profit could be a little bit higher. It's okay, we're doing well, but comparatively, our net profit, I reckon, is just a little bit under where it needs to be. And I've identified that that's because I think we are wasting a little bit of money on things that we don't need and are not moving the needle. So we are going through a process now, which we've never done before really, of seriously having a look at where we're spending our money and looking at where we can shave some expenses so that we can improve our net profit, which was a big, you know, I said to you on the weekend, I don't mind having skeletons in the closet as long as I know they're there.
Yeah.
What frightens me is what I can't see. Yeah. So just shining a bit of a light on the profit and loss statement over the weekend and going, all right, yep, we need to save some expenses here and improve our net profit was a good lesson. Also, what's very exciting is some of the changes we've made to the focus of our content here at WP Elevation, not only for you guys in the public domain here, but also for our members. So we've changed the focus of our content around monthly themes now. Starting in January, we have 4 monthly themes that we focus on. The first year of the month we focus on Grow, which is sales and marketing. The second month we focus on Elevate, which is the processes of the business. And the third month we focus on Profit, which is the financial side of the business. And then we have basically a catch-up month, or what we call a sprint month, where you basically sprint through your to-do list and get a whole bunch of stuff ticked off. And then we repeat the cycle. So, you know, May is then Grow, June is Elevate, July right now is Profit, and then August will be a sprint month. So right now we're talking about all things financial in the business to help you improve the profit in your business. So we're very excited about that. And that leads us into some of the things that we're going to be talking about on today's episode. A couple of other things that have happened. The WordCamp Europe videos are being uploaded to WordPress.tv as we speak. One of the talks that I found interesting was from Karim Maruki and Sherry Walling, who I've had both of those guys on the podcast. Awesome thinkers and great operators in the WordPress space. And they gave a talk about going from freelancing to building a team and some of the things that you need to be aware of. And look at that, Max is good with the short links there, hey, wplinks.io/freelancer2team to check that out, that talk from Karim Maruki and Sherry Walling. And one of the ways that you can improve profit in the business is by having people come in and help you in the business so that you can start to hover at a 30,000 foot view and start to think about the vision and the strategy for the business and not being stuck on the tool so much, which is effectively just trading time for money. Another article that was really interesting, and I do want to paraphrase this, is this great story here on freelancersunion.org on their blog. There's a post called Charging What You're Worth, Lessons from a Vacuum Cleaner. And the story, just the too long didn't read version is, the story is the author of this blog post, their vacuum cleaner broke down, took it into a repair shop and said, hey, can you repair the vacuum cleaner? And so this guy's repairing the vacuum cleaner, and throughout the course of the day, customers are coming in, and this guy comes in and says, do you repair drain, what are they called? Despite, where you put food down the drain and it
blends it up.
Yeah, blends it up. What are they called?
Oh,
anyway.
Blank.
Yeah, anyway, do you repair drains that, chomp up the food? And the guy says, yeah, no problem, I do. And he says, oh, how much? And he gives him a price. And the guy says, oh, come on, mate, you got to be joking. Look, I can get it done for half that price. And the guy says, oh, well, that's my price. And the customer keeps trying to negotiate. And so the repair guy goes to his toolbox and pulls out a spanner, and he says, see this spanner here, mate? He says, this is the first spanner I bought when I was an apprentice. And he pulls out some other tool and he says, see this here? This is the first tool I bought when I graduated from my apprenticeship. Then he goes and gets a bigger tool and he says, see this tool here? He says, I remember saving up my apprentice wage to buy this tool. He said, everything in this repair shop is stuff that I've bought over the years and saved up and worked hard for, and I'm not prepared to give that away for free.
Boom.
Boom.
Good.
Drop the mic. Hey?
That's really
good, isn't
good.
it?
Love it, love it.
It's great.
It's an incinerator.
It's an incinerator. There we
you,
go.
Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher Stratman. It's an incinerator or a
Makes
garbage
sense.
disposal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's great. It's a great analogy, isn't it? So, you know, I mean, here we go. See this computer? I saved up for this and bought it out of my own hard-earned money as I was learning how to build websites and studying how to build websites, and all the themes that we have and all the plugins we have and all the software licenses that we have and all the experience that we've collected in our business. I'm not prepared to give that away for free.
Reminds me of another story when they go and fix something that's broken and the guy goes and just like pushes one button and then sends a bill for like $6,000 and they're like, but you pushed one button. He's like, yeah, but it took me 40 years to know which button to push.
Correct.
You know,
Exactly.
I just love that.
Yeah, it's great. So stop. You know, stop feeling like that you have to discount or give your services away for free. Here's something that we're talking about in the Mavericks Club in San Diego a couple of weeks ago. Just because a client with no budget needs some help and you know how to help them doesn't mean you're obliged to help them, right? You don't have to help people if they can't afford you. And so just to wrap this up, the kind of theme here is I published a blog post recently why you should never feel guilty about selling WordPress services. And the story, just another story here to kind of highlight the point. And this is a true story. I hired someone on Airtasker recently. For years, we've got a corner cupboard in our kitchen, and the door, one of those concertina doors that kind of opens up on a hinge, it's been hanging off, the hinge. It's been crooked and hanging off for years.
God.
And I just haven't gotten around to fixing it.
How's your Virgo's dealt with that?
Mate, have a child, dude, and then things get prioritised pretty quickly. So I decided, I've got all the tools in the house, I can do this, I've got drills, I've got power drills and screws, and I looked at it and went, yeah, I can fix that. But the question is, do I spend an entire weekend watching videos on how to repair a broken hinge on YouTube and get all my equipment out and, you know, spend 6 hours, because it would take me probably 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday to fix it, because once you start fixing this stuff, you never know what's really broken until you take it all apart. Or do I just pay a tradie $150 to come and do it in 45 minutes? So I paid him. He came over, I watched him, he was there for about an hour and a half. Yeah, it took him about an hour and a half, and I was like, yeah, I could have done that, but it would have taken me a lot longer, and it's not my wheelhouse, so I was happy to pay the guy to do it, and I didn't quibble on the price. So, you provide a valuable solution that gives clients the freedom to focus on what they excel at. So don't feel guilty about selling a website where the sum total of the parts might only be a few $100 in themes and plugins. Don't feel guilty about charging a premium for that. All right, good. I think that brings people up to speed, and just having a bit of trouble with the internet connection
I
here.
don't think it's
And so that leads us into something that I've been witnessing over the last couple of weeks in San Diego and being up in the Gold Coast, something that's really got under my goat. So let's have a look at what pisses me off.
This pisses me off.
So what pisses me off is consultants who blame their clients for scope creep or not producing content on time. I hear this all the time. I hear it at WordCamps, at WordPress meetups. I heard it over the weekend. You know, consultants or coaches whinging about their clients. If a client is not giving you content on time or is moving the goalposts halfway through the project, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's your fault, not theirs. They have never built a website before. They have never produced content for a website before. They are not skilled. They do not have the skill set or the knowledge to manage this project successfully. That's why they're paying you. So if your client has gone AWOL with their content, or they are, you know, changing feature creep halfway through the project, I'm sorry, but it's not their fault. It's your fault. So stop complaining about it. Get your processes fixed. There we go.
Great.
Hashtag rant over.
So what can people do to fix it?
Well,
Is it managing expectations?
glad you asked, Ray.
there you go.
Here's something I prepared earlier.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know, setting expectations. So for example, one of the easiest ways to avoid scope creep is to build prototypes in the browser quickly, rather than explaining in the written word what the website is going to look like and how the website is going to function. Here's a radical idea. A website lives in the browser. That's where it's going to end up, either on a mobile device or on the computer. So why don't we start having a conversation with our client about the website in the browser by building prototypes and getting them to comment on the prototype. Let's have a meaningful conversation in the browser. And if they want their client, if you're building a membership website, for example, and they want their members to be able to log in and print out an invoice of their past membership fees, something that we built for our members at WP Elevation, if your client wants to be able to do that, it's going to become apparent very quickly once they start logging into the prototype and fishing around, and they're going to say, oh, where can my members download their past invoices? Well, that's a conversation I want to have before we design the user interface and before we decide which technology and which plugins and themes we're going to use. I want to have that conversation on a prototype rather than we're about to launch the website and then they say, oh, how can my members download their past invoices. And the thing is that your client may not know that they even want that until they see it in the browser. So it's not their fault. The fact that they want new features and functionality added to their website a week before you launch is not their fault. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what's possible until they see it. So let's get them working in the browser as quickly as possible rather than trying to explain things in the written word.
I think the user experience is completely different when you're in that mindset of this is the website, this is where I'm clicking, as opposed to something drawn on a piece of paper or a sketchpad or a whiteboard. It's not the real deal.
Correct.
It's a completely different way of thinking, and your psychology is different. Like, you're not going to go and click the whiteboard, but you're going to go and click a prototype that's in the browser that should actually go to the next wireframe and so forth. So I think definitely matching the psychology of what the finished product should be.
100%. And the mobile experience is, how is the mobile experience different to the desktop experience? And by the way, the mobile experience is not just making the website responsive. The mobile experience is, and it doesn't necessarily mean creating an app either, it just could be a dedicated website with different functionality that is best for the mobile experience. One example I'll give you is if you have a bricks and mortar business, the mobile experience, one of the first things that your customers should be able to find on the website on the mobile experience is your opening hours and Google Maps if you have a bricks and mortar business, because usually if they're looking at your website on the mobile, it's because they're out and about and they're looking to actually come to your physical address.
And we spoke about that last week as well with the mobile first indexing. That's becoming more and more important because there's parts on a mobile website that you should just take away. Like, it's okay to serve a completely different website that gives a better user experience on mobile.
100%. That parallax image gallery that you built probably ain't going to work very well on the iPhone, so get rid of it.
That's right.
Exactly. Very good. I'm just trying to load up the live stream here on Facebook so I can. Oh, you got it here. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Good, good.
I don't know what you want to see, but
I just want to see who's watching and who's leaving any comments. And hi, Colleen Gratzer, how you doing?
Jamie still says he's so cute. I think he's talking about me.
I think he's talking about you. I think he said that's not Jin. That's Ray. He's so
Jamie.
cute. There we go. Who else is watching? Rudy Pap. Hi guys, I'm in Hungary. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I need coffee. Woohoo! Hey Rudy, you're a legend. Good stuff. I'm just going to mute my computer here so I don't get any playback. There we go. Look at that. Now I'm watching a video of me watching a video.
Reading comments.
Reading comments. Fantastic. Josh Osler says hi. Troy and Ray. Hi, Josh.
Oh, Troy is Troy. Hi, Troy.
Yeah. Noah Britton, Marcella Veron. Beautiful. I love seeing who's watching the show, absolutely. And I love seeing the comments. It's because I have a very fragile ego and I need the feedback.
Make sure you hit the like buttons and share the video.
That's right. And Moore Cohen says Elementor it. Exactly. So we're talking about prototypes. If you're building a prototype for a client, just Elementor it before you design it. Just build the black and white version of it, show the client, get them to approve the functionality, and then design it. Cool, cool. All right. Hey, we should see if we can answer some questions from our Facebook community.
Let's get unstuck.
Have you got it up here, Ray?
No.
No, you haven't. Here we go. All right.
You asked it last night.
I did. I did ask it last night, and we have a couple of comments here. We have, to be in the interest of complete transparency, I've literally just arrived back a couple of days ago from the Gold Coast. Before that, I was in the States for 2 weeks. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I haven't read the questions, so this could be interesting. Brilliant. Aidan Spence has got a question here. Says, so the question was. Any questions about making sure your business is profitable? Okay, that's because we're talking about profit this month. So Aidan Spence says, what percentage of your profit should you reinvest in marketing yourself? It's a very good question. I actually asked this question on the Gold Coast in the boardroom. I asked someone what their average spend of marketing is. They were all saying about 20%. So they're spending about 20% of revenue, not profit. They're spending about 20% of revenue in marketing. I have heard other schools of thought that say it should be around about the 10% mark. We have a metric in our business that we like to spend no more than 15% of our revenue on Facebook ads. So, if we're going to make $1 million, I don't want to spend any more than $150,000 on Facebook ads. I can tell you that last financial year we were just above 15% by about $5 grand. of our revenue spent on Facebook ads. So we're just going to try and look to bring that down a little bit. So Aidan, I hope that answers that question.
What about branding and other parts of marketing, not just the ad spend?
Sure. Yeah. So you know, from what the guys were saying in the boardroom on the weekend, that about 20% of revenue, you should budget 20% of revenue on marketing. Cool. So that would include branding, it would include Facebook ads, it would include sponsoring live events, it would include sponsoring a podcast, anything to do with marketing, 20%. We spend more than 20% of revenue on marketing because we're basically a marketing organisation. We don't have any cost of goods really. We don't have physical product. Our operations are fairly lean, although we're going to look to lean up our operations a little bit more. We are a marketing heavy organisation, so we spend more than 20% of our revenue on marketing.
Love it.
What do you do with the profit you accumulate? Profit First style, Trish says. So for those that don't know, Mike Michalowicz wrote a fabulous book called Profit First. I'm actually interviewing him at the end of July for our podcast, and he's coming in next week to do a special members only webinar for our members. The approach that Mike Michalowicz talks about is that every time you get paid, you assign a certain percentage of that money to your profit account, and it just sits in Profit First. What do you do with the profit you accumulate, Trish? There's a very simple answer to that question. The profit, the net profit in your business is what the shareholders of the business take as their return on investment. There's lots to unpack here, so let me try and unpack it one piece at a time. When you first start out, you're probably not paying yourself a wage when you first start out, right? And that's because you are investing your time in the business because you're in startup mode. So when Brian and I first started this business back in 2008, in the video user manuals plugin, we weren't paying ourselves a wage. We would get to the end of the month and we would go, hey, is there any money in the bank? Let's pay ourselves a little bit of money. And at the end of the financial year, we would look at the profit that the business generated, and then we would split that profit 50-50, and that was our return for the investment of time that we put into the business. Now that the business is a little more mature, we pay ourselves. Our structure still is that we draw profit, but we kind of factor in a salary for ourselves and for the rest of the team. And at the end of the year, if there's profit left over, once we've paid ourselves and the team the salary, then that profit goes to us as shareholders for the investment that we've made to get the business to where it is now. So investment of time, investment of risk, because Brian and I have both contributed capital to the business. We've both worked 7 days straight for many months on end at certain periods in the time to get the business to where it is. If the business goes belly up or if the business hits strife and we need to put more capital into the business to make cash flow and you know, keep the bills paid, then that's what Brian and I do. If we run out of money, Ray's not going to put money in to keep the business going. Brian and I do that because we're the shareholders of the business. So any profit at the end of the year goes to the shareholders of the business, and that's their return on investment. So as I said, when you're first starting out, you're probably not paying yourself a wage, so you just take the profit of the business as your shareholders' dividend. Once the business has matured a bit, you should pay yourself a wage and then still have profit. And the reason you do that is so that eventually you can replace yourself in the business, pay that person a salary, and then just take the profit in the business, and you just become a shareholder, but you're not actively involved in the business. And that's, you know, as the business matures. Hope that answers that question.
Very good.
Yeah. Yep. There is a, let me just quickly skip through this question here by Sakina. How much should we pay graphic designers for logos, branding for our client sites? It's a good question. What's a good split where it's still profitable for us? Any recommendations on where to find a graphic designer that fits into that pricing structure? I was quoted a 5% referral fee from a graphic designer I know. I thought that was very low and didn't see how it could be profitable. So Sakina, you've got to know your numbers. It's one of the things we talk about in WP Elevation. In fact, I'm running a webinar tomorrow morning for the general public that you guys should join, where I'm actually talking about knowing your numbers. You've got to know how much it costs you to build a website so that you then know how much to sell that website for so that you can make a profit. And if you've never done this before, my good friend Mike McHenry, who is the chairman of the board here at WP Elevation, he taught me this model. You basically say that 33% of whatever you sell a website for is put aside for the fixed costs in running the business. 33% is for the direct costs involved in delivering that project, which in this case would be a graphic designer, and 33% is profit. So if you sell a website for $3,000, $1,000 of that goes towards running the business, computers, rent, furniture, electricity, internet connections, all that kind of stuff. Another $1,000 goes towards paying the direct costs for that project. Themes, plugins, designers, developers, any help you need to deliver that project. And $1,000 is the net profit for that project, which goes to you as the shareholder of the business. Okay, so if you've never done it before, start there, work, it's what we call the magic threes, work there, a third to direct costs, a third to fixed cost, and a third to net profit.
And how does someone measure that when they're first starting out? Like, is there any tools or programs, or you just spreadsheet it?
Just spreadsheet it. Simon Kelly actually developed a spreadsheet for our members, at making sure that each project is profitable. But yeah, just a spreadsheet. You work out, okay, this, and here's the mindset shift. Most projects we take on and we say, all right, we're going to do this project for $3,000 because that's the budget the client's got. Stop doing that, okay? Your budget, we cannot sell a website in this business for anything less than about 15 grand and make a profit because of the staff that we have and the resources and the rent and all that kind of stuff. So work out what it costs you to run the business. You should know what it costs you to run the business for a week. You should know, okay, if I'm going to go to work for this week, I'm going to incur these costs. These are the fixed costs in running the business. Rent. If you work from home, it's a percentage of your rent or your mortgage. Electricity, gas, internet connection, computers, your time. What's it cost to run the business? Now, maybe you don't factor in your time because your time is going to be the profit share at the moment. And then what are the direct costs in doing a project? What's it going to cost you to buy Elementor or Beaver Builder and a theme and some plugins and hosting? Add all that up and say, well, if that's going to cost me, $900, divide that by 2, that's $450 each. Add another $450, $1,350. So $1,350 a week is what it cost me it basically cost me to run the business and make a profit. So if I'm going to take on a project that's going to take 4 weeks, what's 4 times $1,350? It has to be a minimum of that before I say yes. I don't care what budget the client's got. That's irrelevant. I'm not running the client's business. I'm running my business. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think working as a freelancer from home, they are some of the costs that people just don't look at. They're working from home. They don't factor in the fact that they've got electricity bills, mortgages, running the household. You've got to kind of picture it as if you were working in an office and you'd have those overhead costs.
Correct. Mitch Britt says, where can we find that spreadsheet from Simon Kelly? Mitch, if you're a member, it'll be in the members website. If you're not a member, we can fix that. Join WP Elevation and you'll get access to it. I think you are a member. If you are, it'll be in the members website somewhere.
Resources somewhere.
In resources. Otherwise, just ping Simon in the Facebook group, in the private Facebook group, and he'll get you a copy of that. Hey, Pete Perry has joined the live stream. Hey, Pete, how you doing? It was awesome to hang out with you in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, dude. I'm already having withdrawal symptoms, and I can't wait for Thailand, my friend. I seriously hope you can make it to Thailand. It will be epic. First week of October, we're coming to Thailand, Koh Samui, for another mastermind.
Epic.
All right, we should get back on to script here. The main topic for today's episode is niching down. Let's get into it.
Time to dig into the gold nugget.
We published a post last week, which you guys talked about, building and sustaining profitability in WordPress consulting. And I just want to talk about probably the #1 thing that helped me put my prices up as a web agency and also as a coach here at WP Elevation. The #1 thing that helped me raise my prices and run a more profitable business was niching down. And that is, and I know we hear about this all the time, and people find it almost impossible to work out what their niche is. I'm going to make this very easy for you. We do have a worksheet that we're going to give you, so stay with us and we'll give you that in a moment. But the thing about niching down, and I'm going to paraphrase Seth Godin here, who paraphrased Zig Ziglar, I think it was. When I interviewed Seth Godin, and yes, I'm name dropping, sorry, I'll just pick that up. There we go. When I interviewed Seth Godin on the podcast, he quoted Zig Ziglar. Whoops, there we go, there's another name. I'm going to pick that one up as well. He paraphrased Zig Ziglar and he said, it is, here we go, fantastic. I've lost the tally light. Max is now pointing to the tally light on top of the camera. Thanks, Max. It is better to become a meaningful specific than a wandering generality. So here's the deal. If you want to get paid more and make more profit in your business, you have to become a specialist at solving a very specific problem for a very specific person. And then the idea is, once you've worked out that you can solve one really painful problem for one specific person, then you just find more of that person. So for us, when we were running our agency, the problem that we ended up solving was digital marketing for non-profits, and it was because most non-profits, for whatever reason, here in Australia, have female marketing managers who are, 50 plus, 45, 50 plus, and they come from traditional marketing background, and they're really not up to speed with what's happening in the digital space because it's happening so quickly. So we just slotted in, became their digital sidekick that helped them execute their marketing strategy that they'd already designed. We helped them execute it in the digital space. It was a very specific problem that we solved for a very specific person. Then we just went and found more of those people, right? And the specific problem that we were solving is the marketing manager was getting a little bit of heat from the CEO or the board in terms of raising the profile of the charity or getting more people on the donor database, and that's where we helped. So the way to, so I promise you that becoming more specific and solving specific problems and becoming a specialist is the way to earn more and become more profitable in your business. And there's a whole process to go through to do that. I'm going to give you the very short version of that, unless you've got anything else to add here, Ray.
No, but Simon's added in because Simon's watching from abroad.
Oh, there we go.
But he's saying you also give a lot more value too by solving a more specific problem, more than just profits, and you can help a lot more people solving a specific problem.
Correct. And we talked about this in San Diego. If you have a specific solution, then that becomes your product, or what we call your flight path. Yeah. That's how you take your customers from zero to hero. Once you've got that story and you've got that flight path, that becomes your unique value proposition, your unique process.
Case studies, testimonials, lead magnets, all becomes to that problem that you solve.
Correct. And then you've got an online course that you can produce because, so the blog post that I dictated yesterday was all about the difference between DIY, done with you, and done for you. Done for you is a consultant. Here, I'll take you, Mr. Customer, through my unique process and we'll do it for you. Done with you is you're a coach. You help them learn how to do it and you collaborate with them. DIY, do it yourself, is here's my online course, go buy the online course and do it yourself, which is a lower price point. Either way, you've got to have that unique process that you take your customer through. And once you've got that unique process, no one can compete with you because it is unique to your business. So we spoke a lot about that in San Diego. All right, so I want to just give you the heads up on how to do this, and I want to show you our worksheet, which is the sweet spot, and that is our tool of the week.
Get ready for Tool of the Week.
Now, I don't think we're going to be doing any screen sharing. No, we're not screen sharing. Max has given me the big thumbs down. We're not screen sharing. But what I will do is we're going to put a link in the lower third here shortly for the tool of the week.
Can you get my screen, Max?
No screen sharing. So that is the tool of the week there. It is a worksheet called, it's a worksheet actually called Total Clarity of Purpose. And it actually comes from one of our bonus courses in WP Elevation called the Better Clients Flight Plan. So wplinks.io/sweetspot is where you get that tool, where you get that worksheet. And this worksheet is really designed to help you work out who you serve the best and who you specialise in helping. And so the very simple exercise to go through is, there's a bit more to this, but the kind of too long didn't read version is a very simple exercise, is to write down in one column on a sheet of paper all of your skills, everything you do really well in the business. It doesn't matter whether you enjoy it or not, just write it down. So I'm going to write SEO down in that column because I'm good at it, even though it bores the face off me. I'm good at it, so I'm going to put it in that column. So all of your skills go in that column, and fill a column with skills. Think about it and reflect on everything you've done for clients over the years, and fill that column with everything you're good at. And then in the next column, write down everything you are passionate about and everything you enjoy. So I write down design and user experience. Even though I'm crap at it, I write it in the column because I enjoy it and I'm very passionate about it. I also write things down like podcasting, presenting videos, running live events, and it turns out that those things end up in both columns. I'm really good at podcasting and presenting videos and running live events, if I do say so myself, and I happen to fill it and I'm very passionate about it.
And do you put personal stuff as well, like hobby stuff or more business stuff?
Totally. You can put whatever you like. You can just fill those, because some of your personal stuff will filter into your work as well. Yeah. And then the idea is that you find the commonalities and you basically draw a line between the skills and the passion column where there is, for me, podcasting, presenting videos, running live events. I just draw a line and I go, right, that's what I should do in the business. That's what I should focus on. The next question is, who stands to benefit the most from me being in my sweet spot? someone who needs SEO is not going to benefit a hell of a lot from working with me because I'm not going to do it for them because I don't really enjoy it that much. I find it a bit mundane. Even though I'm good at it and I kind of get it, I don't want to do it on a daily basis. So someone who wants SEO is not going to benefit from working with me. Someone who wants coaching, 100% they're going to benefit from working with me because I'm in my sweet spot when I'm coaching, right? Or presenting or inspiring or educating. So once you've worked out who stands to benefit the most from working with you, then you just profile them. And there's an exercise in the Sweet Spot worksheet that we're giving you that I stole from John Janch from Duct Tape Marketing, which just gives you a series of questions that you ask to profile who that perfect client is that stands to benefit the most from working with you. And then if you go and find that client and solve their problem, you are no longer competing with all of the other web designers and WordPress freelancers on Upwork who are charging $20 an hour. There we go. That's the tool of the week.
Love it. I remember when being a student, that was one of the best things. I don't know if everyone knows, but I was a student of the Blueprint program. And going through those exercises and just getting clearer, it makes it very clear of who you need to target, segmenting, advertising, who you need to be asking referrals for. When you get clear on that, it's very easy to go, this is who I'm looking for, do you know anyone?
Yeah.
And sometimes people go, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so
right.
It's very, very, very good in exercise.
And also just on the referral thing, it makes it easier for people to refer people to you because instead of saying, oh yeah, Ray builds websites, they'll say, oh yeah, Ray builds websites to help new podcasters grow their podcast. Oh, holy shit, well I'm launching a podcast, I better go and chat with Ray.
Yeah,
right?
You instantly become that person that solves their problem. There's no one else that competes with that.
Correct. Awesome. Hey, this has been fun.
It has been good.
See, I'm in my sweet spot. No, I'm in the seat. I'm talking the thing. I'm doing the thing. I'm dropping names and picking them up. I'm missing the tally lights. It's, you know.
Having a good old time.
Not sure that I'm good at it, but I'm having fun, so I'm going to keep doing it until I get good at it.
Well, we get lots of thumbs up and lots of waves today, which is really good to get that feedback. Look how many waves we've got here before from like Noah and Linda and Mitch, and it's great. That's
awesome. Simon Kelly said, is it another name drop when you mention me? It is. Hey, Simon Kelly. Well, I'll just get that name. Awesome. Pete Perry has tagged his new business partner, Daniel Quintana, for Daniel to come and watch the show. Hey, Daniel, I hope you tune in at some point and watch the replay. Good to see you, and thanks for joining in the fun. All right, it is time. We've got a little run sheet here that says what we should do next. It is time for our CTA, which stands for
Call to Action.
Right, and the call to action is to like us on Facebook and make the little counter behind us go up. We're currently sitting at 12,498 likes on our Facebook page. When we bought that thing, it was just over 9,000, I think.
Yeah, it was under 10,000.
Yeah, under 10,000. So it's heading in the right direction. Like us on Facebook. Share this with your friends or anyone you think might be interested in learning more about growing a WordPress consulting business. If you are watching this and you want to learn more about growing a WordPress consulting business, then go to wpelevation.com/webinars. Was that the link?
That's it. It's been in the comments as well. I popped it in there before.
There you go. wpelevation.com/webinars. Is it Get?
Get, yeah.
Yeah. So it is, it is get.wpelevation.com/webinars. And join in a free webinar that we're running every week. Every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock Sydney time, we run a free training webinar to help you grow your WordPress consulting business. So share that with your friends as well. And also, if you don't like Facebook, and I don't know what you're doing here, but if you prefer YouTube, we upload the replay of this show up onto YouTube. So get on over to wpelevation.com/YouTube and join in the conversation there. Or you can just visit us on the blog where Maddie writes up all the show notes and publishes the show notes. I don't know why I just did that with my hands. A bit of jazz hands there. Hi, Maddie. We had breakfast with Maddie on Sunday up in the Gold Coast. That was cool to hang out. So you can also check out all the show notes and the resources and the links for all this stuff on our blog at wpelevation.com as well. We also have a podcast which you can check out on iTunes or Stitcher. It's the WP Elevation podcast for WordPress business consultants.
Excellent. You're not going to do the Snapchat live?
And if you go to wpelevation.com/Snapchat, you'll get a 404 page because we don't use Snapchat.
Actually, there's a little Easter egg there.
Is
there
that
is
right?
No 404.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm going to check that out later. Awesome. That's fun in a very geeky way, which I love. Thanks for joining in the show. Thank you, Ray Miladoni, for joining in this morning.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Troy.
And dude, thanks for hanging out on the Gold Coast as well. That was epic.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it definitely lit something up inside me. So it was great to hang out with some like-minded, great people. It's
going to be a fun 6 months. We're going to be working hard, having lots of fun, helping people and making money, which is kind of our motto here. So we hope you can join in the journey. Until then, my name is Troy Dean.
I'm Ray Miladoni.
And remember, knowledge is power.
And silence is golden.